I'm still under the accusations, but God's taking care of that in the background.
And then they take everything from these good people. Hello, everybody. Hi, it's Kevin Webb here, and with the absolutely lovely Key from the Victim Prevention Project, waving at you right there. Hello, hey Key, how you doing, bud? My friend,
I'm good, just doing my dishes, planting my seeds, you know,
doing your
keeping
Care
my
Bear
house
stuff.
under order. By
Yeah,
wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding, it is established, and by knowledge, the rooms are filled with precious and pleasant riches. Proverbs 24, 3 through 4.
amen, amen to that.
Amen.
Do you think that's the case when our children aren't there with us?
Of course, you
Yeah.
keep God close to you for sure. He helps you with all kinds of stuff. It's awesome.
So, so it would feel like it's like everything's gone dark, right? But it's not. Is that what you're saying?
Probably more dark in the narcissistic mentalities world, but not for me.
Hmm.
I've been enjoying playing in dirt, prepping for flowers, and setting up my swimming pool and moving on with life with all my kids in prayer daily.
That's the way to survive, right?
All
Uh,
you can do.
Yeah, that's right. All these
All you
people
can do.
who
Put your trust in God.
you trust in God. Yeah. So
Put your
that's
trust in God.
like when you're in the middle of a narcissistic abusive relationship or in the workplace or scapegoating in the family, you can put your trust in God. And you and I are testament to knowing that God will take us out of there and will protect us every time, every time.
He sure did. I wasn't expecting what he did, but here I am.
What was it he did for you that got you out of it?
He kept me under his wing while I was escaping danger the
Yeah.
whole way. And when I look back on it, I see all the miraculous things that I just slipped under the wire with, albeit, I'm still under the accusations, but God's taking care of that in the background. They know what they've
100%.
done, whomever. So I can lay my head down at the end of the night and say that I did my very best with what I had to work with. I can't say so much for the person who chooses to do wrong, and I pray for them too, because there's no joy in that. There's absolutely no joy in knowing that you've harmed somebody and you continue to do it. How could anybody like that be happy? I doubt it highly.
Do you
I
think
doubt
they
it.
can do you think it bothers them? Or do you think they get some sense of power out of it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They get a sense of power while you're with them. I think that's why they freak out so much when they know that you're figuring it out, because then they lose their supply,
Oh,
you know?
geez. And they'll do
You're a
anything
supply to
possible.
them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I was talking to somebody the other day and they were telling, in fact, I speak to so many people the other day, and we all share the same stories about what happens when we start seeing through it, then we start standing up to them, and then they start looking like they're cold. And then we were talking about, do they actually care? Do they actually, like, it sounds like they want us to go, but then do they want us to go? And I don't know, it's
No,
hard. No, no. That's what we
no,
thought.
because it takes a lot of energy to be that way. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an agenda somewhere. We just don't know what it is, but we do know that it's evil and wrong.
Yeah. You don't
And
think it's the
we know that
narcissist
there's a way
agenda?
through it.
So you think it's a bigger agenda than the
Have an agenda.
narcissist? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the agenda of the enemy.
Just to break us
It's
down,
the
what do you
agenda of the
reckon the
enemy.
agenda is?
Huh?
What do you reckon the agenda is?
To separate us from the heart of God
Mm.
at any cost.
So
That's the agenda.
we talk about them sabotaging the family. That's the ultimate family right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. And it's in planes. We have, God's plane at a higher level. But down here, we're experiencing the exact same thing that God's going through, just on a real low level. but we can connect with God at any point for strength and endurance through any of it. Doesn't matter what it is. He's there.
Every time people ask me, they
You
say,
make your bed in hell.
yeah. I know
You
people in
make
the
your bed
past,
in hell, he's there.
they say, when did I find God? And I think I always knew God, always knew God was there. And I think
Yeah.
it's because there's that quiet peace, that stillness of a peace, and a reassurance. What about you?
But when it's when you fully wake up to his presence and decide to have a relationship with God is
Right.
when, you know, uh power comes upon you, the power of the Holy Spirit that endows you with power that's greater than yourself. You can't do any of this without him.
That
But
leads us
yeah, I think,
into you said so. What was it you were going to say? Sorry.
oh, every human being is endowed with an innate understanding that there's something bigger than themselves. Everybody has that. But it's
Everyone
when you wake
knows.
up, just like an alienated child who has to wake up, we have to wake up too. Everybody's in a process of waking up to the realization of how important, special, loved, and how much power you actually do have over your life. Like, we're not helpless. We just got to call on God for our angels to ask him to kick our angels' butts into gear so they can fly around and take care of stuff for us. They're there. We just got to ask. It says, behold, you have not because you ask not. All you have to do is ask. And the moment you wake up and say, God, are you there? He will show you. He will manifest. It's amazing.
Oh,
If
it's
you've never
instant.
done it, you should do it.
Uh-huh. It's instant.
It's instant because he's
Uh-huh.
there. He's
Do you
there.
feel it?
And
And
then,
you'll
but
end up, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I just feel bad for those people. Like, I have a really close relative, okay,
Yeah.
that used to be a Christian. Um, she used to go to church, and did the Christian thing. Well, some terrible things happened in her family. She now isn't so okay with Christianity, and I get it from that perspective. But what people don't understand is it's not God doing that. It's the enemy that's doing that. Ephesians 6:12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but he's there to help us through all of that. And I just feel bad because there's so much peace, the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's in the Bible. It tells you all about it. That they could have that protection, that spiritual and emotional protection it's a gift that God gives you when you just press into him and realize that he's alienated, he's the original targeted parent. He is.
All these people who say that they don't believe in God, but yet they worship something else, or they are anti-Christian and they'll believe in something called Satan, and they'll say, or they'll believe in Mother Earth or something. Oh, it's like those wheels that we did the other day, and oh, that's what we were going to talk about as well, about the wheels. So we can do that on the
The
next one, I
wheels.
suppose. The
There's a
power and
couple of those
control
wheels
wheels.
that are terrible.
I
I don't know
know.
who designed them.
Like, what was the one that says about the creation? And they said about Mother Earth. Well, there is no Mother Earth as far as I'm concerned, because if God is the Father and if God's a creator and God created Earth, then how can the Earth be Mother? Would that
Right.
make
He
sense?
never said that. He never said we were supposed to call the earth mother. I
No,
mean, it makes sense that people would go there though. But I don't know.
I don't know
God
if it
didn't
does
say
make.
it was mother, so
No, he said
well, because
he
you
said
put seed in the ground and it grows plants and such. I mean, it's a feminine concept. It makes sense, and we know that the earth is alive and breathing and not doing too hot because we disrespected it so much. but nowhere in the word does it say that we're to call the earth mother, you know. So
That's an
I don't
interesting,
know.
but there's an interesting thing you just said right there, and I missed that, right? Picked up on that. Like, I don't mean to sound rude to anybody listening to this. I know you just said putting a seed into the earth, and
Yeah,
so the seed is going into the earth and then growing something. So
just as conception with us, a man plants his seed in a woman,
yeah,
it makes sense to
I can
think
see that.
that, the earth is feminine. You know what? That's actually a really good question. I'm gonna look it up and see if it's not in there somewhere because we could be wrong.
We could,
I mean, we make mistakes.
yeah.
We
I
could be
just
wrong.
don't.
God might have said, respect Mother Earth somewhere. I don't know.
But
I don't know.
I don't think he did. I think he said look after the earth, but I sure don't think he said anything about any Mother Earth anywhere. Yeah, like you said, if
But
I'm
I
wrong
can
as well, pick me up on it. But I don't think because
I can
people are
see where people
worshiping,
would get that.
yeah, yeah, and because now it's becoming a thing to worship. And God says, don't worship anything but me. So people are now making out Mother Earth to be a god because they're worshiping the God. They're worshiping the earth, which is
Yep.
that's paganism, isn't it?
Well, anything that you put above God or greater than God is idol worship.
It's idol worship. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like I'm still vaping. I went from cigarettes to now I'm vaping, but the goal is to quit. Well, if my vaping gets in the way of my worship time or, time with the Father, then it
Mhm.
becomes an idol. You know, we're not under the law, but, we're supposed to be respectful, use your common sense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Very commonsensical. I think that's all God's asking for is to use your head,
I
and
think he
come to
told us
me when you need me.
he told us to do that, didn't he? He said to think about things. He said to test it. He said to be wise, to think about, yeah.
Yeah,
But then you've got the new age and then the new thoughts. Oh, crikeys, I can't believe we're actually talking about this. Is so the new thoughts are saying that you can think things into being, and but don't think as well. So that the new
right.
thought, from my understanding, um is say things as you'd want them to be, and they would be. Says that I'm well. And then, okay,
Manifest. You're
you
talking
say
about
well.
manifestation,
The manifestation
manifesting.
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the word to manifest what you
Mm-hmm.
want.
Mm-hmm.
Which, do you see how tricky the enemy is there?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not untrue that you can speak things into existence because God said there's death and life in the power of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
What you speak will be. So it's not off, but the problem is they're not giving God the glory. They're not
Exactly.
giving God, you know, he gave these things to us because he loves us and he wants a relationship with us and he
Mm-hmm.
wants us to appreciate what he did. I mean, think about it. If you're in a relationship and for an example, with your wife, okay? And you go out of your way to build her this really lovely, like little house in the back for her to do her crafts or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, something that you poured your heart into. And because the neighbor guy builds things, she thanks him for all the help and telling you how to do it. That's a terrible example, but uh, if you think about it, if you pour your heart into a gift for somebody to show them your love and appreciation, and they give the credit to somebody else, or they don't even acknowledge it at all, or worse yet, trample all over it, just, lean dirty bikes against it and crush the flowers in the flower box and, you know, break the door. You see what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
just God
Mm-hmm.
made these wonderful gifts for us to use. But if we're putting our worship into rocks and, the earth and all of that, he's like, hey, I made that for you. And I want to bond with you. I want a relationship with you. And then you got all these clowns out here doing horrible things to children and
Mhm.
stealing and breaking things because the enemy gets in and he twists the gift and he changes the order and he confuses things and he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's his
Sure
job, and
does.
he's got workers to do that. Well,
I
God's
wish
got
people,
workers too. They're called angels. Angels
on,
work for God.
yeah, I'd like to pick up on that point because there's so many people who call themselves Christian as well that believe that they can tell the angels what to do and the angels would do it. But that's not true. They pray to God and
No,
God tells the angels what to do. The angels work for God. They don't work for, they don't do what we tell them to do. They do what God tells them to do. So all these people that are thinking that they can pray to their angels and ask the angels for things, no, they got to pray to God, and God tells the angels, God, that's the messengers and all, you know? So
but
how
best
far off
believe
am I
there's
on
a
that?
demon there. There's a demon there disguised as an angel who will follow suit and follow through with your orders to make it look
Hmm.
like you can.
Yeah, that's scary, isn't
It's
it? People thinking that, you knowing
it
that, yeah.
is. Well, the
If people,
enemy comes. The enemy's not ugly. If he were ugly, he wouldn't gain your attention. So he
no.
comes beautifully dressed in beautiful rocks and just all this gorgeous stuff. It must be from God, but there's an
Hmm.
order to it.
Hmm.
And if it's not given to God, then you're all it is that you're separating yourself from him. It's not that he doesn't love you or that he isn't calling on you to come back. It's that you separate yourself
Yeah.
by stepping outside of the order of things. I'm sorry, I keep rambling. And I'm sorry, everybody, I'm doing my dishes. I forgot about today's meeting and I didn't want to miss it though.
We caught you at home and it's
I'm a
just,
mama.
it's brill. That's good. No, it's good. We should do this more often. Uh, everyone in the household is
People
saying, "Yeah,
relate.
do it more often. You do it all the time. Too much. You do it too much." While you're doing
Yeah.
that, I'm going to
So,
read something. You sent me something, right? And it was about my glory.
yeah.
Do you remember sending me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to read it
Yeah,
out
that's
for
out of
you.
a book called Jesus Calling. It's out of a book called Jesus Calling, written by Sarah Young, if anybody wants to look it up.
There you go. Sarah Young. Jesus following. So it says my
Jesus Calling.
Jesus calling. Okay.
That's the name of the book where that came from.
Should we put that in the description after the video? Yeah. I'm going to read it out for
What's
people.
it what's it dated?
21st of December, but it doesn't give any other date. Just 21st of December. So I don't know what year.
Okay.
Any year.
Go
Close to
for it.
Christmas. Any Christmas. So it says this is a great read actually. So we talk about the power and the glory and about life and living by faith rather than sight. Well, I think we've spoken about all that lot. So it reads as, my plan for your life is unfolding before you. Sometimes the road that you're traveling seems blocked, or it opens up so painfully slow that you must hold yourself back. And then, when the time is right, the way before you suddenly clears through no effort of your own. And what you've longed for and worked for, I present to you freely as a gift, or sorry, as pure gift. You feel awed by the ease with which I operate in the world, and you glimpse my power and my glory. Do not fear your weakness, for it is the stage on which my power and glory perform most brilliantly. That's beautiful. As you persevere along the path that I prepared for you, depending on my strength to sustain you, expect to see miracles, and you will. Miracles are not always visible to the naked eye, but those who live by faith can see them clearly. Living by faith rather than sight enables you to see my glory. And anybody wants to read that, it is Psalms 63 2, 2 Corinthians 5 7, and John 11:40. And it's in that book that you said that we'll put down in the link. Beautiful, isn't it?
Right here, this book.
There you go.
It's
Jesus
backwards,
calling.
isn't it?
Nope.
Sorry.
Perfect. It's
Oh, I'm
perfect.
seeing it backwards.
Oh, you're seeing it backwards,
I
but
started to I started coloring it.
that's really
I
good.
thought it was pretty.
Actually, that could have been released just like that because it goes really well. You're very creative.
Well, thank you.
You're very
You are
welcome.
too.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time.
All right. I appreciate yours too. It's always good. So what are you making anyway? So you're doing the dishes right there. So what are you making what have you had for dinner?
I am going to make some fried chicken salad. I'm just keeping it simple. Just making some fried chicken salad.
Good stuff.
Fry up some chicken, toss it on some lettuce, and call it a day.
Like that. I like that. And then in a few months' time, you're going to be
Yep.
able to use your own food because you're planting stuff too, right?
Yes. I'm going to be planning a whole salad. So we got
Mm.
lettuce, onion, green pepper, tomato, cucumber, all the fixings that you'd normally have in a salad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to just grow one giant salad in the backyard. I'll go out
Whoa.
there
There you
with
go.
my ranch dressing and just start squirting it everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And then you'll be seeing one big giant rabbit coming along. And
And I'm
oh,
making this
nice. Nice. What is
some
that?
baked bread.
That's
Bread,
beautiful.
sir.
Love
Thank
bread.
you.
Love bread. So that's how you rise your bread. You put it in a bag like that. Yay.
Yep.
Pretty
Set it
much the
on the
same.
back of the stove. I preheat the oven to 170 and get it nice and warm and keep it on the back of the stove so it
Uh-huh.
rises in time.
Nice. So you're teaching everybody how to cook?
I guess so. This is a cooking show.
But what here's the thing is you come from a world of narcissistic abuse and you've ended up being taken out and being given a beautiful family and a beautiful family life and there you are. You see, you're looking
I'm so
well.
grateful.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Wear my Care Bear sweater.
Uh-huh. That's good. So it
Just
all
be a
pans out.
kid.
Just be a kid. I like that.
God says continue to be a child. Keep being a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your life. If something's stressful, hey, run to God and say, God, I can't do this. This is horrible. Please take this from me. And He will supernaturally do it. You just got to ask.
Narcissists won't do that, will they? Because that means that they're giving the control away to somebody else, and they won't risk that, which is really sad. Because there's so many people out there who love these people and they want to do the best for these people, but they just won't let them, and then they take everything from these good people, and they think they're all superior. But crikeys, what was it? God said that anybody who's not willing to learn from anyone is very unwise. Do you remember that? Can't remember exactly
They'll
what he
figure it
said.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll have to look it up in the scripture. I don't know exact address, but yeah, if you're not willing to open up and be humble,
Mm-hmm.
because none of us know everything. Like I don't know everything, just like I don't know the address of the scripture, but we know it's there. Um, you're not smarter than the next guy necessarily. You're you.
There's something
Be
really
you.
kind of cool, actually, to be able to say, I don't really know. They'd say, do you know
Yeah,
this? You go, no, I don't. I remember when I was growing up, I used to have to try to hide that and pretend that I did know certain things. It was a strange growing up, but it's just
that's
really
pride.
it's a cool, relaxing kind of thing now of like there's no strain or pressure to have to try to pretend that we know everything because it feels great to say I have no idea. Tell me about this. And actually great relationships are born from that, aren't they? Because the other person then feels like they've got something to give, which is lovely.
Yeah, and
You're
don't
receiving.
despise an argument because an argument is where you I mean, depending on how you handle the argument, it's supposed to be edifying, and you're supposed to grow from that. It makes your
Mm.
relationship better. You can even argue with God. He'll argue with you.
You ever got
Good luck,
angry with God
though.
before? Have you ever got angry with God?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, same.
I can't say that I've ever been. It's weird. You would think that I would have, but I don't know if it's instinct or what it is, but I've never blamed God for nothing. I never have. That's a very good question. I never thought to think about that. But I understand why people would. Like my daddy at the end of his life, he was calling me up saying, I'm pissed at God right now for the condition I'm in and all this. And it took a lot of work to show him, it's not God doing it. It's the enemy. He knows you very well. He's got assigned workers that follow you your entire life, and he knows how to help you trip. And my daddy didn't know a lot. I mean, he knew the Bible, but he didn't know Ephesians 6:12 that well. He was a Christian, but he didn't get the word deep down into his heart to know, to fully know. To fully know is in your heart, not up here. It's
Yeah.
not your head knowledge, it's your heart knowledge. And I understand why people get mad at God. It makes sense, but it's not him. Just like I hope my children aren't still mad at me for things that I didn't do.
I've been mad, angry, and I've been angry and spoke with God in an angry way, but not actually pointed at God saying it's his fault at all. Um, but
Right.
I've been, which is what we do with our children, isn't it? That we should allow our children to be angry around us and not
Yeah.
just,
Experience your emotion. Yeah.
yeah. And then to be a tiny bit respectful of how they deal with that anger as well, I guess. Like to not chuck mud all over us or whatever, but
Right.
but I've been angry with God, trusting that God is okay with me being angry.
Absolutely. He knows why you're angry.
Yeah.
He gets angry. Jesus tipped tables. Look at what he did. He come in and he tipped tables and he said, "You've turned my father's house into a den of thieves.
Mm-hmm.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. It's okay to get mad."
Mm-hmm.
But he says, "Be angry, but sin not."
Exactly.
And sin is where you let it fester in your heart. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though you've been done so wrong and up here that it's not right what they've done to you, they talk bad about you, tore you down to your kids. Like those things are bad,
Mm-hmm.
granted. But the problem is if you have it stuck inside of your soul,
Mm-hmm.
because it cuts down into your very soul. If you let that stay in there, if you can't get it out, the only thing that can get it out is God. He's the
Mm-hmm.
only one who can remove that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep that for your sake. You can't keep that.
That's
And
keeping
God's
the
the judge.
that's keeping the
He will
poison
avenge.
inside of you. He will. He will. Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it is poison. It is
Yeah.
absolute poison.
I think there's nothing
I mean,
wrong in us getting the thoughts in our head or the feelings of like we want to go chuck rotten eggs at their door or whatever it was, or even some people going, I want to go over them and give them a real good thump in the nose. It's natural to think like that, but then to come back and
I
go,
would
no, no,
want to
no, no,
take
but
and
it's not. Yeah, yeah,
I would want to go over and throw toilet paper in their tree.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
I
that's me.
I can't even tell you
That's
the
my
things that
revenge.
they did to me was like, I mean, their vengeance just darn near killed me. All the things that they did to me, and I could not bring myself round to do anything back because it's not our place to do that. Besides, it also gets us into trouble as well. And so God's letting us know if you sin in your anger, not only are you going to be accountable for it in heaven, but also it's going to come back and bite you on earth. So, like a good father, he's telling us, look, that's just not wise. I'll deal with it.
No,
Like our kids come to us and they say, oh, so and so's done this. And we're like, it's all right, we'll deal with it. Don't get yourself in trouble. I'll sort them out. Not
right.
right yet. We'll catch them later on.
Well, if you think about it, though, I mean, this lights, and I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, that's almost,
Um,
That's it right there. They get
if you
perfect. Just
think
stay
about
right
it,
there.
see, the Lord says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged. In the manner that you judge, you will be judged also." Well, he's no respecter of persons. If the individual is treating you crappy and they're doing horrible things, and they know that they are, what makes you think that they're not going to be judged for that?
Exactly.
They're going to be judged for it. So you, in that instance, that makes me feel sorry for that person, because
Hmm.
in the manner that they've judged me wrongfully, it's really bad what they
Hmm.
did to me.
Excuse me.
Not just me, but most important, my children.
Hmm.
Innocent people got hurt, very innocent people.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid for them,
Mhm.
honestly. And I have no remorse. I have no, because I understand that, because I know they're in deep crap. If they don't turn their lives around and run to Jesus and realize that it's not them, it's the enemy that convinced them of these lies that they believe, that they've reacted to and with, to cause harm, they're in danger. So with that knowledge, I'm able to pray for them and to love them through God's eyes and see them for what, not who, what they are. And they're just a broken kid, just like me, you know. We're all on this journey trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
and it's not easy. It's a tough road. The narrow road is not an easy road. You will be persecuted, Jesus said.
Hmm.
And boy, have I ever. Boy,
Hmm.
have I ever. And it's okay. You're supposed to have joy in that, because you have a great reward in the end.
Yeah.
It'll be beautiful. I'm excited.
I am too.
I'm
Because
very excited. And I
he said,
still,
didn't he say? He said he's going off to make a place for us. He said all these places
hmm?
for us. He told us, he said, if it wasn't true, I wouldn't tell you. Or somebody
I wouldn't have
who
told you.
wouldn't
He
have told
doesn't
you.
lie.
And if he went on that cross and suffered, was persecuted, went through all of that, that's somebody that I'm going to trust. And then he comes back, not just to a few people, but he comes back to hundreds of people who see him for about 40 odd days. And that's recorded. It's recorded in Roman history as well. Well, somebody who's done that, I'm not going to think that that's a bad person who's trying to deceive us. I'm going to follow that person
Right.
who is God. And yeah, in human form
Why
at
would
that
you die
time.
for a lie? That's
Why
the
would you
ultimate
die for a
question.
lie? Yeah. If
Would
he was
die
he
for a lie.
he was so wise and so smart, and they were all saying he's got this knowledge and speaks so well. So for somebody who was so good and knowledgeable about what they all believed in, to turn around and do something weird like get himself crucified, whatever, it's that none of that makes sense. It all of it points to Isaiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, all these people who spoke about him, and every single prophecy was fulfilled by Jesus, and Jesus knew all of those prophecies. He was far more better, let's say, read than others, but he wasn't read. He was the person, he was that word. So he knew what he'd said. He knew what prophecies he'd made himself. It wasn't that he'd read a book, because people didn't read books all the time back then. I believe my understanding is not everybody could read back then, I guess. Tell me I'm wrong. But he didn't have to read because it was his word. He was the one that said those words.
He is the word.
He is the
He is
word.
the word.
And that's how he knew so much. And then for him to know so much, to turn around and be able to then fulfill every single prophecy every single one of them. And then by the end, when he's on the cross, he was astute enough just before he passed to say, "It is finished." He knew what he was doing the whole time. That's not a crazy person who did that. He knew it because he's the one that said that it was going to happen, that it had to happen. And somebody who did that for us, I know no human being that would do that for us. No human being. I would never put all of my faith and trust in a human being, but I would do it through Christ, for Christ. It's Christ that I would put my
Amen.
trust in.
He did it for love. He did it for family. He did it for you. He did it just like we would do for our kids. We would do anything to protect
Hmm.
them and to keep them preserved under our wing, you
Hmm.
know?
People have
That's what
been
it's
hurt,
all about.
and
It's what
these
the
people,
whole story is about is love.
it's all about love. And this really bothers me that people who are looking for, excuse me, for that level of love
Well, they don't.
turn they turn away from Christ. They don't want to know Christ, but he's the one showing them this is the level of love that you need so that you're not hurt, so that you don't hurt each other. Because without that level of love, you are going to hurt each other. And he's right. The proof of it is we've all hurt each other.
And his strength is made perfect in your weakness. The
Yeah.
only way to fully know what we're talking about is to call him into your heart. Once you call him into your heart, he will reveal all of his secrets and tell you everything he knows.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Uh-huh. I wish people would do that because that is the evidence. People they just don't want to go there. But that is the evidence. They think that we're freaky Christians or whatever, you know. But I don't call myself a Christian. I have a relationship with Christ, personal one.
Right.
But I wish that other people would do the same that you've done, that I've done, and would literally just call on Christ. But they don't. But if they did, they know what we're talking about. It's like we say, "Oh, it's snowing outside," and they say, "No, it's not." And we say, "Well, it is. Have a look. Open the door. Go outside and have a look." They go, "No, no, 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 no." I said, "Well,
Right. I don't believe you. I've seen pictures of snow. I don't need to look or whatever, you know.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah." They're
can't
telling
you
me
can't fully know.
they're telling me on the news that snow doesn't exist. He said, "Well, it's there. Just open up the blinking door. It's right there." You know. Anyway, we're gonna have to
Right.
close this down, aren't we? Because I think we've been on for quite some time now. And so, have you got any final words? First of all, everybody, as well, if you need to get a hold of Key, Key, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm on the Victim Prevention Project on YouTube. If you want to add a link or whatever, but my
Okay.
email is victimpreventionproject@gmail.com.
Okay.
I'd give up my phone number, but my phone blows up all the time as it is, so I can't do that. But I
Probably
just
not.
want to say I love you people, and it's difficult right now, but it gets easier as time goes on, and the more you educate yourself and edify yourself and stick close to God, the more you're gonna see through it. You're gonna see through it, and you will survive it. I know sometimes it feels like death. I get it, but there is a way out. That's all I wanted to say.
I think one of the really, really important things for people to know, I hope. So I've got a little frog in my throat now. Is to be very, very careful that when you're finding the strength to fight back on these narcissist people, to not fall into the darkness yourself, to actually keep your light, to keep the salt, basically, is what God said. But it is very easy for when people are fighting back to lose that lightness and to fall into a darkness yourself. So be
Hmm.
mindful of that.
You get
And
sucked into it.
yeah, and I know, we get afraid then to be all joyous again. You've got to find some way to keep that joy. It doesn't mean to say that you can be naive, living, ignoring everything, You can be mindful of the dangers, mindful of these people. You can put the boundaries in place with the consequences, and you can be quite firm with saying no, trusting, have the courage of your own conviction, and hopefully as well, knowing that God's got you back. God has got you because he loves you as well. How you can get a hold of
Like me,
me?
I'm agoraphobic. I'm agoraphobic and I have to make myself go out. But when I do make myself go out, I find myself feeling so much better. And it's like you just got to make yourself do it. Just make yourself do the right thing and you will start feeling better. You will. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
That
that's
was
okay.
important.
I think you said something really, it was important because there's that word intent, isn't it? To be intentional. We've said this for years. I think it was Lise Colucci who got me onto that word intent. If you're not sure what intent means, look it up. But what it means is intentionally go out and do something with that purpose. Make yourself do it, even if you don't want to, or that you're going to say, I am going to do this because I'm going to do this. It's not just blase
Get
walking in and
yourself
doing it.
get yourself out of your own way.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
like that.
I like that. I like that. How you can get a hold of me, people, is everybody, people. Sorry. How you can get a hold of me is I'm on www.thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. Why the power and control wheel? Because well, parental alienation is on there as weaponizing the children, and there's so much more to the picture of that. Rather than going down the rabbit hole of just parental alienation, the abuse is insane. It's all over these wheels. Unfortunately, it's been made gendered. We know it's nothing to do with gender. So that's why I call myself or my website, the Power and Control Wheel. And to get a hold of me is support at thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. And the social media is at the Power and Control Wheel. Twitter X is at Power Control. And can you please like, share, subscribe to both of our channels as well, the Victim Prevention Project and the Power and Control Wheel. Watch out for these premiering every Saturday, fortnightly, 2 weeks, and live as well on the other Saturdays every 2 weeks. And then sometimes on Sundays there are Q&As and other times as well. Now I'm putting together the very adult alienated child and talking on behalf of the folks who are over 30 years old because there's not a lot of that being spoken about. So every week, maybe a couple times a week, you'll see me posting on that as well. And I'm going to be completely open and vulnerable to you, letting you know what it's like as an alienated adult child, not in the young stages, but throughout the rest of our lives, how being alienated from a parent or parental obstruction, how it impacts the rest of our life. And if you can hear it from us, then maybe some of the naysayers will say, oh my goodness, there actually is something to this. So, God bless you all. Look after yourselves. From me, from Key, all the very, very best, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye now. Where's that record button? Take care. Bye bye.